The Delphi trial, if all stays on track, it is starting the 14th of October, which would be the week that this is airing. Or if you're listening to us or watching us in advance, it's next week. Um, this is a trial that we've been covering for quite some time. It's a trial that's been filled with twists and turns and surprises along the way. A lot of, rather, I would say, convenient pit holes or potholes that have popped up for the defense that seem to have been basically put there by the prosecution. And here's another one. This is brand new to the case. As we're getting ready to go to trial, one of the defense's key witnesses also happens to be the only officer that has gone the other way on this case and spoke about Odinism, investigated the Odinism theory, said there's probably something to do with this, who was going to testify in the trial and still might. Todd Click. He's been arrested just in time to discredit him for the trial. The charges against him, and we don't know all the details, but it sounds like somewhat of a paperwork charge. Arrested for forging documents and falsifying information in his role as a DCS family case manager. Nothing to do with the case, but they seem to have found something right before to discredit involving children as well. Siobhan Scott, psychotherapist and author, joining me to discuss. There's no such thing as coincidences. What's your thoughts on this?
It's just another layer with this one that has been so from the crazy of the crime to the convoluted crazy that just has continued since then. And it's again unfortunate if there's someone that has information that's relevant at all. We want to be able to hear from them. Does this put them in a different light if they're, charged with this? Sure. But nonetheless, we want to hear as much of the story that's relevant as
Hmm.
we can hear. So,
Do you think? I mean, if Todd Click now testifies in this, um, i- is this something they can use to try and discredit him? Can they say, "Well, look, you're talking about these two girls here, and you supposedly care so much about them. What about this over here in your DCS filings that you were working in? You didn't seem to care enough to file this correctly, or you forged something. We don't know the details."
mhm,
But something over here that involves kids you didn't seem to care
mhm.
about too much. So why should we believe anything that you're saying over here?
It would be my guess that that would be brought up. Would the judge allow it to be brought up?
Yeah.
Again, probably discretion of the judge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we see that all the time with people testifying. If they're proven to have lied about one thing, then, it's alleged, then you must not be a person that tells the truth. So,
Well, and having him locked up and saying, "Sorry, you can't go testify," might also be part of this tragedy. The tragedy and the strategy, because
yeah,
it's I
yeah,
think it was a slip there, but true.
yeah.
It's of course Odinism. The judge has already said we're not going to talk about that, despite an officer investigating it, Todd Click, for quite some time. But this is something where if any of that were to be introduced into the trial in some way, shape, or form, and again, alternate theories not allowed here, but in testimony, when people talk about things, some things kind of do come up from time to time. And I think this
Yeah.
might have been an area where it could have been introduced in some facet into this trial. It just feels like this is another way to block a witness and prevent anything that they don't want being said in this trial from happening. It just doesn't add up. I mean, there's just so many things here in this whole case, time after time, where this looks like conspiracy. It looks like control. I don't know that it is conspiracy or just a
Yeah.
conspiracy to cover up bad police work. And now it's
Yeah.
gone to this length.
Yeah, it's the lack of transparency that really bothers me. I feel like there's so much information we don't have, and that's why we would love to be able to watch the trial,
Hmm.
because we don't know the contents of his computer, his cell phone, and so often with, criminals, that's where you get the real evidence is what was on the computer. And we don't know that. We don't have any of that information. And we'd love to hear more testimony, possibly about alternate theories.
Hmm.
But it's at this point, it feels like it's happening in a very hidden way. And that just feeds the sense that there's a conspiracy. The more that they try to hide, the more people take off and speculate.
Hmm.
So,
No, I mean it certainly does, and it's disturbing to see where this might be going, and just the miscarriage of justice on this whole damn case. We want to get to the truth. We want to find the answers, and why it feels that 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 is the opposite of what the Delphi court system wants to have done, and Judge Gull just doesn't make any sense to me. It
Mhm.
just doesn't add up over and over and over again. I'm hoping we get some answers once this thing gets into court. Although we can't watch the trial, we can't hear the trial. Reporters
Yeah,
can't take, they can't
yeah,
tweet out, but they can use a notepad. So
yeah.
maybe we're going to be all shocked here. Maybe we're going to find some evidence out that okay, Richard Allen really is the guy, and this is why they've been so hard pressed on it. I just don't know that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the more transparency, the better, and it's not going in that direction. Yeah, I have so many questions about his mental health. We know he's become grossly psychotic in prison. Did he have any history of that before? What kind of treatment did he have for mental health problems? Because when you look at the veracity of, they're talking about all these confessions he's made. Well, if he's psychotic, those confessions don't really count for anything
Hmm.
because people psychotic are hallucinating and delusional, and so it's meaningless. But we don't have that information
Yeah.
either, you know. So
If you're eating your own poo, can you be deemed psychotic at that point? Is that pretty much like a
one
no-brainer?
that's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty grossly psychotic,
Okay. Well, that's
severe.
where he was.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how this is all framed in court. Just
Hmm.
another bizarre twist in this story. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Bruschi, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.